impromptu filming. Probably tell by how I look. I just sat down to edit this video and I didn't film an intro, so I'm gonna do that right now. Yeah, hey, did I say hello? Today I'm basically gonna be filming a video going through all my reading goals for the year. Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit late into January, obviously, so I would have probably preferred to get it up at the start of the year, more on theme, but it's taken me a little bit of time to really just cement what my reading goals actually are, start putting things in practice and really like know if that's what I want or not, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, I've split this video into like a couple different sections, so take you through that, you'll see that. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Probably why I forgot to film it, because it's pretty self-explanatory, but I really hope you enjoy, and yeah. The first aspect of reading goals for this year that I think we should look at is my Goodreads goal, because that's kind of the most overarching. I feel like most readers who, if you use Goodreads, you're gonna probably have a Goodreads goal for the year. So we're gonna start by looking at my past goals. 2022, my goal was 50. I only started reading properly halfway through the year 2022, and obviously I only picked up Goodreads halfway through the year, so I made the goal 50, which, to be fair, considering it was August, that was a pretty high goal, but I very clearly surpassed that. 75 books. That was like not representative of my normal reading pattern. That was a lot of like short books, a lot of, you know, at least 5 of those books was the Mindfuck series, and I counted them as 5 single books, so you can see what we're dealing with there. And then the more representative of me as a current reader goal, 2023, I made my goal 120, because I thought if I could do 75 in half a year, I will be able to do 120 easy peasy, and I did complete that. I did 136, which again, very happy with. Now, my current reading goal is 100 books, so that is a bit of a down from last year. So I guess that sounds kind of counterproductive or counterintuitive, I don't know. It doesn't really, like, usually you would go higher, but I kind of just feel like I really don't care, and I never really have. I've never really felt a pressure to meet my Goodreads goal, and maybe that's because I've always been like on track with it, so I've never like fell behind. But I just don't really care how many books I read. I just don't really feel the pressure to do that. I'd rather read really good books than read a bunch. So I just did 100 because that's a nice round number. And what's that? How many books would that be a month? 12 divided by 100 divided by 12. 8.3. So 8 to 9 books a month, that sounds manageable. And then obviously some months, usually I hit around 11, but some months it'll be a bit less. So I think, yeah, I think I'll surpass it, to be honest. But it's nice to be involved in the challenge and just, you know, taking part. But I really couldn't care less how many books I read. And I don't think any of this should, because it doesn't mean anything. It's just a number. It's not representative of whether you're a good reader or whether you're a real reader or like whatever. If you read 3 books a year and you say you love reading, that is valid, because who cares? It's literally words on a page. Not me. That's my Goodreads goal. Already 3 books in, going well so far. It's the 14th. Next section. Okay, so my first like personal, what I think is quite an attainable goal is basically just to finish a bunch of series I've started, and doing that I'm gonna knock off some like significant TBR veterans, and that's very exciting. So my main goals for this particular category. Oh, is she okay? Imagine Me, the final book in the Shatter Me series. This should be easy because it's got quite big like font. It shouldn't take me too long, but I read the whole series like kind of back to back, and then I didn't get to this one, and I feel like that's kind of a common thing if you don't just like keep going with the series, especially if you're not like obsessed with the series, you're just never gonna finish it. So yeah, I could just not read it because I don't particularly want to, but since I've read what, 1, 2, 3, 5 other books in the series, like I may as well finish it. Don't talk to me about the novellas, I don't care. Yeah, so that's my first goal, read Imagine Me. Then Things We Left Behind. This is the 3rd book in the Knock 'Em Out series, which I loved the first book, was okay with the second, and then I'm just really scared about the 3rd because I've heard like a lot of mixed reviews on it, some really good ones, some really bad ones, and it's like 600 pages, so it's just quite intimidating for like a romance to be 600 pages. Like, what could you possibly have to say that takes 600 pages? But that's a big goal for hopefully the near future. Hopefully I can get these books done like before the year, like halfway through the year at least. I can get them done by then, because if I'm still having to read these in December, that's kind of dramatic, but it's a whole year goal, whatever. My next, is this gonna slip out? Next is the Magnolia Park series. Now, this is a bit different because I know I'm gonna really love these books. I'm very excited about reading them. Like, it's not like a case of like, oh, I don't really want to read that, but I want to finish it so I can feel complete. Like, I want to read these. I'm just so scared to, especially this one. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to this one because everyone says it's amazing. Everyone says this one's amazing too, but I'm the end of the first Magnolia Parks book like hurt me in a way that a book never has. Like, it just like crushed my soul, and I don't know why. It's probably a bit dramatic, like thinking about the ending. Like, is it that deep? But it is that deep because I just felt so emotionally connected to those characters, and I feel like my heart broke in the way that someone in that book's heart was breaking at that point, and I was like, no! Yeah, I know that this book is probably gonna hurt me just as much, if not more, so I'm really scared about it. But I need to read them because the next book's coming out literally in February. Like, I'm probably not going to be done by the time that book comes out, but I need to just read them because I love this series. Like, I'm gonna love these books, so I need to just make myself do it, and I'm gonna feel really proud of myself when I do, because they're just scary. They just scare me. I don't know what to say. I want to finish the entire Sarah J Maas like universe as it's up to date now. I have Kingdom of Ash here, but actually I've already been acting on this goal. I'm currently reading the I can't even hold them, they're so heavy, the Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn tandem read. I'm not very far through, like I'm about that much through each book. I've been reading it for 2 days. Like, it's gonna take a while, but yeah, I wanna finish Throne of Glass, and I wanna be up to date on Crescent City. I don't know if Crescent City's like done after the 3rd book, I'm not sure, but I want to read all those because I love Sarah J Maas in general. To be honest, don't be surprised if you see me rereading at least like a few books in the ACOTAR series before I read Crescent City, because the entire time reading Throne of Glass I've just been like, oh my god, I want to read ACOTAR. Like, not because I've been not enjoying Throne of Glass, I've loved Throne of Glass, like it's incredible, just as good if not better than ACOTAR, but I just miss them. I just miss being in that book. Yeah, so that's the goal. This is so scary. I mean, look at the size of it, and I know that this book's going to be pain. Everybody says it's pain, but everybody also says that it's incredible. Like, I feel like I expected it to be more of like a, you kind of got to slog through the ending because it's literally the longest thing you've ever seen, but everyone says it's incredible. So yeah, I'm very excited. If I can end off this year with all of those books read, I'm going to be pretty happy with myself, to be honest, because because some of these I feel like they've just been haunting me. They've just been sat on my shelf haunting me, like, you're never gonna read me, you little stupid bitch. But no, I will. That's the goal for 2024. Hello. First things first. Can you see my hair bow? Do you like it? It's a hair clip. Isn't that cool? So, next part of my reading goals for 2024, I have a bunch of spreads in my reading journal that I need to get done. I really want to complete them because last year I had some of the same ones and I didn't quite finish them, and like, it's fine, it's not that deep, but it would have been nice to just finish the spread. I'm the kind of person who likes to finish things. So I've got a couple here that I'll show you now. I've already started them because I've obviously already been reading for the year, but I have a book A to Z that I want to finish. I got quite far last year, but there was just a couple letters that I guess you don't really think about it, but they just never seem to come up. And then a book bingo, which last year this was one of my favorite pages. I think it's so cute because I do each little square kind of like reminiscent of the book cover, which I think looks so cute. And then I have my 24 books I want to read in 2024. Again, I got quite far last year, but didn't quite complete it, which is like, I'd like to finish it. And then my priority TBR, which I have already been working through really well. I actually finished some of the books on my priority TBR in 2023 because I made it towards the start of December. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I love my reading journal. It's one of my favorite parts about like tracking my reading. When I get to like, when I finish a book, I genuinely get so excited to fill in all my little journal things. So yeah, I'm very excited about keeping up with that this year, making it even cuter. Okay, so for my next goals, I've like headlined this in my mind as like fun goals. These are just like personal things that I want to do for purely fun. I don't feel like if I don't get done, I'm gonna be devo about, you know? So the first one is I want to read a new release on release day. At least like start it and read the majority of it. Like, I'm not saying that I have to fully read it on that day, and if I don't, I haven't completed the goal. I just want to get a new release and like experience the excitement with everybody else of like reading it and, oh my god, do we like it, do we not, you know, all that fun. Because when I did that when I read Love Theoretically, and that ended up being my favourite Ali Hazelwood book ever. So I just want that excitement again, that feeling. My next is to fully annotate a classic. Now, I feel like reading more classics is kind of a common goal. A lot of people have that because I guess it seems smarter, like you should be doing that. I don't necessarily feel that way because I've read, I'm not going to say many, but a decent amount of classics in my life when I did A-levels English literature, and just from that, I've read like a couple classics. And like, I've never felt like it's made me any smarter. I just don't necessarily believe in like reading a book for the sake of reading it, rather than like, if you enjoy it, then that's one thing. Like, The Great Gatsby is one of my favourite books. I love that book. I'd read that book any day. But I'm not gonna like sit here and read like Moby Dick or I don't know what I'm saying. Like, I just mean that my goal isn't to read more classics. My goal is to fully annotate a classic, because I love when you see on like Pinterest or Bookstagram or whatever, like, oh, really heavily annotated page. But I'm like kind of low-key done annotating most books because it was a waste of my time. I can't be asked to do it anymore, and it like took away from the reading experience half the time, because I'm reading these books that really there's nothing to annotate. Like, there's maybe a couple quotes, but I don't like the look of just having like a couple quotes. I want it fully annotated. So I'm just like reaching the entire time, looking for things to annotate rather than just enjoying the book. But I feel like classics, to understand it, you need to kind of annotate it a lot of the time. A couple options for that I'm kind of going through. Obviously, Great Gatsby, as I said, this is my favourite classic, and it's a really short book. Well, it's not as short as this looks. This is very small font, but I've obviously read it before. I studied this at A-level, so I have like already a really good grasp on it. So I feel like that could be fun to really just like dive into all of the elements rather than trying to understand it as I'm going and then kind of missing things and having to go back, I also got some really beautiful, what are these? These are Harper Muse. I don't know what editions these are, but these beautiful like painted books that I would really like to read, but I do not think I'm going to be annotating these because, number one, I'm not going to have like tabs coming out of that. That would look ridiculous, like with the gold foiling. And I'm not going to write in these, like they're too pretty. So I mused that for a second, but that's not going to happen. Most likely, I'm going to continue with Pride and Prejudice because I bought this. I already have like a prettier copy of Pride and Prejudice on my shelf. I bought this in 2023 with the goal of fully annotating it, and I got like 20 pages in. And when I sit down and do it, I have a good time. And as you can see, I have a lot to say. Like, look at all of those tabs. But it's just takes a lot of motivation to actually get myself to do it. It feels like taking away time from other reading, which is silly. I need to like work on my mindset for it, but I think my goal, my overall goal within this is to finish this because I do enjoy it when I do it. I just find it hard to motivate myself. And then in a similar vein, my final goal is I want to fully finish a motivational, like I don't want to call it self-help because that just has really kind of negative connotations in my mind, like a self-help book. But I do like reading books like that because one thing that I find really, really valuable, like I've always been, well, I don't know if I've always been, but I'm the kind of person who I love a quote. And I know people will be like, oh, they don't mean anything, it's cringe, but I just find a lot of value in being able to like say a statement really, really like good way that things that like take age, see, I'm doing it right now, things that take ages to try and explain, being able to say that really like finitely, that's something that I really value and I find really helpful for like motivating myself and all sorts of things like that. I do enjoy reading like books like this, The Mountain Is You. I've started this one, as you can see. I think, and I would like to like kind of annotate it. That's kind of what I'm doing, not really as I go through, mainly just like underlining things and like things that like stick out to me as like relevant for me, like writing along that. I also have started like I'm like over halfway through this Dolly Alderton's book, which this isn't like self-help, it's just a non-fiction about her life growing up in her 20s, but it is kind of like helpful for me considering it's kind of about being my age. So this goes under the same vein for me. And then I also have Atomic Habits to read by James Clear, which again, I feel like there's really negative connotations with these kind of books because people are like, they don't actually mean anything. They're like, no one actually follows what they say and it's just like mumbo jumbo kind of thing, which I agree to a certain extent, but also, as I said, I find it very validating to read things that I already know in like a different way. External validation, that's what I need all the time. I would ideally like to finish all of these, but at least one. Like, I've been reading this for a very long time, so at least one of these, hopefully all of them, that would be nice considering I bought them. Okay, so my final and probably most important goal is to end the year with a smaller TBR than I started, because the overconsumption that we've got going on in the book world is insane. And don't get me wrong, do you see what we have back here? I am not innocent by any means, but I would really like to make an effort to read the books that I buy and not just buy more, because that's the entire point. The point is not to own all these random pretty little books and just leave them on the shelf. The point is to read them. So that is my goal. I'm going to try and utilize Kindle Unlimited as much as I can and not buy the books after. If I very, very rarely will read a Kindle Unlimited book and then buy the book just to have the physical book. Unless it's literally like my favourite book. I've done that once. I'm going to try and end the year with a smaller TBR than I started. I started the year with 50 books on my TBR, which, to be honest, that's a lot of books. I was pretty happy with that. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. All of my books fit on one cart right now. I would like to keep it that way. All of the books I haven't read belong on the cart, not breaking over here. I'm gonna really, really try and stick to that, because number one, it's just bad. I shouldn't be buying books that I'm not actually gonna read for a really long time. It's a waste of my money, and it's physical mental space taking up that I don't want happening. Like, it's gonna overwhelm me too much, and I'm just not doing it anymore. So yeah, that is the biggest goal, and God, I'm sticking to it. No one could do anything to make me not stick to that goal, because I swear to God, if I end up with 100 books that I haven't read at the end of the year, I am confiscating them all and giving them to someone else, because it's not okay. The way that I feel like I'm gonna really succeed in this is by setting monthly TBRs that are realistic to what I actually want to read. I feel like in the past I've fallen into the hole just setting books that I think I should read at the time, or like, for example, oh, it's summer, let me read just all of these summary romances that I don't actually want to read the book. Like, the book doesn't sound interesting to me, but I know I should because it kind of goes with the vibes. Or, oh, it's autumn, I'm just gonna read a bunch of autumny books, even though I don't want to. The biggest one, oh, it's Christmas, I'm gonna read a bunch of holiday romances. Holly Ann, you don't like holiday romances. Don't put that on your TBR, because you're not gonna read them, you're gonna go buy more books. So we're gonna be setting really intentional TBRs that have books that I actually would like to read in the month, and yeah, so far that's been going well. It's only the first month, but every book that I've read so far has been on my TBR, so it's been going really good. That is actually gonna be it. That's all the goals that I have. I don't think any of those are out of the realm of possibility at all, because, to be honest, do I need to be setting goals for reading? No, it's a fun hobby. It's meant to be a fun hobby, but me, just personally, everything in life becomes tracked gold, whatever, because I'm insane. But I know a lot of other people have that problem, do the same thing. So I think it's nice to set these fun little goals that we know that we can attain. These are all attainable. Nothing is insane. There's no like, I want to read 200 books this year, because that might be possible for some people. I'm not doing that. Never gonna do that. To be honest, that would probably be really bad for me. I'd be spending time reading that I should be doing other things. So yeah, feeling good about my goals, feeling excited about the year. They're just giving me like motivation and excitement, energy to do these things. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please come back again. That's all I have to say. Bye!